Hello, everyone, and welcome to a session of Coach Susan and some great information I'm sure you'll find useful as you are growing your business. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Susan Dintino, and I am a Hay House author. The title of my book is Songs of My Life, Slightly Out of Tune. So as the title suggests, it's a humorous approach to everything that I have learned on this journey we call life. I'm also certified with just about every certification Doreen Virtue has. So I am a certified angel card reader, an angel therapy practitioner, and I'm actively working at it. So I just feel like we can grow together, because I must tell you that what they say is when you teach, you learn, and when you learn, you teach. And it's so true. So really taking this journey with you, I have learned a great deal myself. So before we get started, I want to wish you all a happy Earth Day. I actually remember, and I am sure I am definitely aging myself right now, but I can remember when I was in college, the very first Earth Day, and I wish I would have saved the button, because we had these pins that we walked through campus proudly wearing. So just a big shout out to Mother Earth, and to just let you know that you're bringing your light to the planet and certainly helping to just heal it and keep it to be a wonderful place that we can all share. I would also like to say that I love calendars, and as I was pulling the calendar for today, I saw that tomorrow was Take a Chance Day. So I thought, okay, because my calendars are humorous, they're factual. I have 4 or 5 that I pull all the time. So I thought, boy, this is a great time to be talking about this subject, because it's Take a Chance Day. So just know that we are going to work together to just build the best business that you can possibly build. So today what we're going to be talking about is building a website, particularly your own website. And there are professionals that you can use, certainly, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later in the broadcast. But for now, what we're going to do is take it step by step if you should want to do this endeavor on your own. Okay, so for those of you, this might be a bit of a review. If you've already got an acting website, hopefully there'll be some things that you might be able to share on the page with others that they'll benefit from. But the first thing we're going to talk about is your domain name. Now, for those of you that tuned in to the last time I was live, which I believe was 2 weeks ago, I talked about the importance of registering your name, whether that is going to be your website name or not. It's really important that you register your personal name. You want to go with, there's so many different endings, .com, .net, .org. Those are the 3 that you want to shoot for. If you want to cover every ending possible, you can certainly do that. But those 3 in a domain name, and that's what we're talking about right now, your domain name, are the ones that you want to get. And you can go, there's register.com, GoDaddy.com. There is a plethora of places that, first of all, you can check to see if your domain name is available, and also register it with. And what I'm going to do is, at the end of the broadcast, I'm going to give you a list of the links that I'll be talking about during this broadcast. I'll post it over on my fan page, which is my name, Susan Dintino, so over on my Facebook fan page. So that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to register your name. Now you're going to have to decide, do you want to use the name, your own name, as your website? Is that what you want for your domain name? And it's a big decision, and in all honesty, my very first website was entitled A Year of Me. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, why would she call it that? Well, that is the first book that I published. A Year of Me is a children's book, and I really thought this was my life purpose. I thought Oprah was going to select it for its first book club selection for children. So I developed a website called ayearofme.com. Now, I had registered my name because, again, this was advice I had picked up in one of the classes with Doreen Virtue. So I did have my name registered in .com, .net, and .org, but I really wanted to promote my book. Now, with A Year of Me, what I did is I did work with a web developer, and this was back in 2000, and he was just starting out, so it was fairly reasonable. We developed a website where people could actually download one of the chapters of the book. So that was the website that I promoted, A Year of Me. Now, when you're considering considering your domain name, and that's what we're talking about, so that when you're reading about all of this, you get the jargon. When you're thinking about your domain name and you have decided not to use your own name for now, and again, you can always create a website. You've registered your name, so you can always create a website later with your name. But for now, say you want to really focus on your readings, okay, and what it is that you do. So what you want to do is think about this like a title of a great book. What domain name would you like to choose that would really serve as a very positive brand for you? So you really have to put some thought into this. This is not something that you're going to do quickly, because with the World Wide Web, this domain name is going to represent you, your brand, and what it is that you do. So I would suggest you take some time with that, and then you go to the various websites to make sure the name is available. And sometimes what you'll find is maybe your name is not available in .com, but it can be available in .net. Then it becomes your decision. And remember, you're all profoundly clairvoyant, so with everything that I'm talking about right now, you're going to use your own intuitive ability to make the best decisions. So if you have to walk away while you're thinking about it, maybe jot down some suggestions, and then just allow yourself to maybe meditate what feels right to you. Maybe write down the different options, go away a bit, the next day return and say, wow, what pops? Okay, so now you've selected your domain name, you've checked it out, and it's available. So what do you do next? Well, you have to find a host. Okay, now what does that mean? Well, obviously, you want your domain, your website, to be up on the internet. And in order for it to be up on the internet, you have to have a host. So thus again, we've got some selections, and GoDaddy is one. There's so many different ones. And when I was looking to get this information together for you, as many times as I would put it in, there was as many suggestions of who you could get to host you. So again, it's something that you have to really think about. You have to research. Remember, this is your business. So what you're doing is what is going to be the best and really give you the most positive results. There's all different terminologies when we come into this. Search engines, where does your website fall? And this has a lot to do with who you choose to be a host. So again, these are all things, I mean, this could be like a 10-week course talking about developing a website, and you're obviously getting a crash course. What I'm doing here is giving you an overview, so as you're looking to make your decisions, you know what is the best for you. And again, because you're going up on the web, the best thing to do is to use the web as a resource. Okay, so say now you've selected your host and you've decided, okay, I'm good to go. Your domain name is great. You've selected the host you're going to use, and now you are going to build your own website. What's the best way to proceed with that? Well, again, looking at the different options that you have, WordPress is one of the best platforms that you can use. And when we talk about a platform, what we mean is how you're going to bring whatever images, whatever text, whatever information that you want to use, how are you going to bring that into your website? And WordPress gives you a very easy solution to do this. Now again, we're talking about how you want to do this on your own. So you can download WordPress, and what they will do is take you through a step-by-step process in building your own website. There's plugins available, so you can create option for people to go to a newsletter, sign up for your email, forms. There's all different things that you can do. But obviously, this is going to take some time. And as much as we know with internet, they say these things are, beginner easy, you're going to have to realize that you're building a website, and even though it's as simple as they could possibly make it, there's going to be trial and error involved. And I think there's trial and error involved every time we get involved with doing anything online. So there's going to be some issues. So what I would suggest you do as you're starting to do this, now I'm going to use my example for me, who used web developer to develop a year of me. And basically, I just paid the web developer. And to tell you the truth, I've been through 3 different web developers since I started. You know, it was like each one I kind of outgrew. And if you're going to go that route, and we're going to go back to talking about developing your own, but if you're going to go that route, and actually this goes hand in hand with developing your own as well, what I would suggest you do is go through and look at the websites that you really admire. Okay, what is it that pops? What is it that speaks to you? How many pages do you think is a good idea? If you're somebody that's just starting out, 2 or 3 pages might be more than sufficient. You know, a catch homepage that's going to draw the person in. And then what's your theme going to be? Like I said, this is your story. This is your book. This is your presentation on the web. If any of you have visited my website, I'm a big beach person. So when I was developing this latest website, what I did is I used a beach theme, and I invited people to join me at the beach. There's seashells, there's a sand feel to it, and then I just invite people to come on in. Now, I did not put this website together. This, again, has been a work in progress. As a matter of fact, I just updated it recently. So again, that was my feel. Now, my daughter, who is an artist, she developed her own website, and she actually used Vistaprint, which is another option, and this was quite a few years ago. She's just about ready to go now and look for somebody to do it professionally, but I can remember her doing it. Now, granted, this was quite a few years ago. I'm going to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and using Vistaprint, which is pretty much where what you're going to do is pull and plug. And what I mean is you select images, you select texts, you pull and you plug them into your website. And again, these people that you use, whatever you select to do, will take you step by step through the process. Now, of course, there's a fee, okay? So no matter what you're going to do, even if you are going to build your own website, there's going to be fees involved. So that's another thing that you want to check out. How much money do you have to invest? How affordable is this? Would it be worth it for you to have a strong Facebook presence for the time being? And we talked about that in the last show, creating your own Facebook page. Maybe that would be a better thing for you to do for right now, and then look at a website when you can get a developer. But there's a lot of creative people out there, and I'm sure you know them, or you're one, or somebody might be willing to barter with you and build your website and you do some services for them. Again, there's ways you can do it. But I can remember my daughter putting together this website that it took her quite a bit of time. So again, it's like a work that you're really using to present to everybody out there. Now, when we talk about WordPress and building, as a matter of fact, WordPress is the back end of my website, and it's very easy for me to go into that back end to change text. I have a post page. I can add posts. I have people can sign up for my newsletter. It's very user friendly, and the nice thing about using WordPress as a platform, you can be as big or as small as you want on that platform. And again, what you put on your website, there are so many options. Like right now on my homepage, and my website, in case I didn't mention it, is my name now, SusanDentino.com. But as I said, that was a work in progress. I finally decided to go with my name with that. And on my homepage now, I always have my most current video, which is I do my new moon, full moon video. So as a matter of fact, I have one coming up on Wednesday that I'll talk about in a little while. So I always have that put up there, and I've actually learned how to do it. Now, I could pay my web person to put that video up there, but I asked him. He did a little bit of an instructional video for me, and I learned how to update my videos every week or every time there's a new moon, full moon. So I have a video up there. I also have, like, to the side, there's a menu of different things that you can see. My latest Facebook post, signing up for my newsletter, my products, primarily my book, Songs of My Life. These are all things that I have on the side. Now, again, I did not build this website. This is somebody developed. But what I'm doing here is giving you some suggestions of things that you might want to put on your home page if you're putting your own website together. And again, videos, that might be a little bit complex for you right now. So, maybe some great pictures. And you know what? That's a great topic to talk about right now, is your picture. Okay? Really take some money and invest in getting some really good pictures of yourself. It's so important. And not that long ago, I actually was working with somebody that wanted to be on my radio show, which for those of you that might not know, I broadcast once a week on Tuesday, 7 p.m. on W4CY.com. It's an internet radio show. It's called The Night Shift. And for those of you that might be looking for little mini readings, I always do mini readings during my radio show. So I invite you to join me over there. But I had somebody, then we had worked a little bit of a barter out, and she came on my show, and I went and did like a fashion kind of, like a glamour shot kind of thing, but it was a little bit different than that. So I got so many great photos, and I selected 5 or 6, and I have used those photos now for my website. Now, if you have a friend that's a photographer, or somebody that can really help you, but professional photographs of you in particular for Facebook, because everything we're talking about, you're going to need your photograph. Make sure that it's the best photo that you can afford, because it speaks volumes. So much about what we are doing is based on trust, and how you look and how you present yourself. You want to just look like you're a trustworthy person. So having a great picture done is really important. If you're a man, even a man, I was going to say if you're a woman, this would be more significant, but even a man, maybe have a little bit of makeup done, so that all of your best features are out, because you want to make sure, again, with building a website, building a Facebook page, that you have your best face forward. So really, it's a great thing to do, is to invest in something like a professional picture. So that right now, like I said, right now I have videos on my homepage, and then I have a free meditation. And I try and keep these pretty updated. Every 6 months, I'll put a free meditation. Now, that's a great way to bring people to my website, giving them something free. Now, I know there's people that actually will have cards there, and again, it would most likely have to be your own deck. I think that it would be copyright infringement. You'd have to check on that, make sure. But there are some people that you can go and, pick a card on their homepage. You want to put something on your homepage that's going to draw people. For me, it's that download meditation. And then with all the little tabs, services, shop, I'm hoping people are going to take some time to really get into my website and really determine, looking at who I am, what I'm all about. And whenever somebody reaches out to me for a reading that doesn't know me, I always refer them to my website. I feel they get a really good idea of who I am and what I'm all about. So I really want to recommend that you make sure that whatever you decide to do and whatever you decide to develop, that you do the very best thing that you can do in bringing your best face forward. Okay? So I just want to, let's see, I just wanted to say that there is a website that I found that has the top 10 websitebuilders.com. And again, this is something that I will be putting up in that list of links. That goes through step by step the different ways that you can build your own website and really take one that you really feel resonates. Like I said, they all have some nominal fees, some a little bit more significant monthly fees. It's the same thing when you're looking for a host. You'll find very nominal fees. Usually you can get great deals when you're first beginning to register your name, when you're first beginning to host. They'll give you super deals. Then what happens is that as it goes on, the prices might adjust a little bit. And once you select a host for your website, it is a process to change from host to host. So I recently did that, and my web developer was actually the person that took care of it. One of the things that happened to me with my Year of Me website, which really broke my heart because I don't know what happened. For some reason, I was never notified when the name was up for renewal, and that website just kind of disappeared. And I was at the time registered with register.com, and I always wondered where it went, and it had been so many years, but it just kind of went, and there was no way I could retrieve it. Now maybe with technology it would be possible, but you want to make sure that you're aware of when your name expiration date is going to be coming up. You want to make note of all of these things as you're going through this process. And if you're somebody that already has a website, I would highly recommend that you take a look at when your expiration dates are coming up, because this happened recently to my daughter, and again, she had missed something, and she was registered with GoDaddy, and the website, all of a sudden wasn't available, and she didn't understand what happened, and she was able to retrieve her website, but yes, for a fee. So it's really important that you keep all of those different ways of knowing what your expiration date is. Have a separate notepad or whatever to just take a look at that. So that's about websites. Again, the long and short version. I'm going to take a look now and see if I've got some questions here. I know my hair might be blowing like a little Farrah Fawcett look here because I've got the fan on. It's a little bit... Okay, Jama is asking, what's the average cost to have your website developed? Jama, that is a great question, and I will say to you, it's as varied as the people that you are going to select. The more complicated the website, the more expensive it's going to be. I really think that would be something I would have to look into a little bit, because I know my web person, I pay by the hour. It would just have to be, and usually now I've worked with this gentleman for so long that I know that there's times he's not charging me for everything. So I'm not going to answer that question. I will see if I can get an answer for you actually, I might as well say this now. On Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Time, I am going to have a special edition of CACR Coach Susan, and I'm going to be just doing a Q&A. We're going to do a little bit of review of what we've covered so far, and then a Q&A of everything. So I will have an answer for you then, but I'm not sure. An average cost, I would be going out on a limb to tell you that. So okay, I know, Wendy. I am so sorry that you have had such a hard time. Wendy had reached out to me, joined my Facebook chat room, and for some reason, Wendy cannot access the radio show, and I've sent her every link that I could possibly send her. The only thing, and Wendy, I believe, is in Australia, the only thing that I can say is that it's the computers, and I am not sure why you'd be having a problem. The website that I'm on now is w4cy.com, and for the most part, it's been reliable. I haven't had too many issues. And again, the podcasts are up on iHeartRadio. If you go the night shift, that comes up at a podcast. Again, it could be an issue with where you are in Australia. I'm sorry. I want as many listeners as I can possibly have. I'm not sure why that would be an issue for you, Wendy. I've given you all the options that I have at my disposal. Not exactly sure why that would be happening, and I certainly apologize for that. Okay, so would you recommend first only pictures and like a blog? Okay, Annie, that's a great point, and what I would say is that to me, this is the most important thing. I think because Facebook is free, and Facebook has such a wide audience, what I would recommend is to take your time developing your website and focus on marketing yourself on Facebook. I think beginning with a picture and a blog is a great idea. And again, this is something that you can do with WordPress and just create a blog. And as long as you know Microsoft Word, that will really assist you. So again, it's great for texting, and it really is pretty much drag and drop mentality. So that would be a great way to begin. If you're somebody that likes to write and you want to start contributing that way, that would be a great way to start, just to have a picture. So if you're getting all of your like ABCs in a row as we're talking about the website, the first thing is to get your domain name. Make sure that you get that registered. Decide on what you want as far as your domain name. Find a host, where you're going to have your website. Then as you're developing your website, get that professional picture taken and decide what you want to do. So for right now, if you want to have a presence on the web, that's the most important thing besides Facebook. Make it simple, especially if you're not internet savvy as far as doing something like this. If the drag and drop kind of thing is new to you, take your time with it, because I feel like it's more important that you have something that looks professional versus really trying to cut corners and have something up there that doesn't represent who you are. And again, why I feel this is so important, because we are so based on trust, and you want people to go to your website. Sometimes what you can do, and I've seen people do this and have it for quite a while, have their website registered and do like a fancy kind of graphic, something up there, and just say under construction, we will be available soon, and then put your link to your Facebook fan page. You can do that as well until you're really ready to take the plunge. Okay, let's see. So, for those of you that might just be joining, I want to remind you all that this is Susan Dentino, and I come just about every Saturday. I have been changing a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be available next Saturday because I'll be traveling, but just about every Saturday at 12 noon, I come in to your homes as Coach Susan to pretty much give you some tips on really developing your certified angel card reader business. I am a Hay House author. I also work at this full time. In addition to doing readings, my radio show, I do intuitive coaching. I also am a motivational speaker. So I really am a jack of all trades. I do have some healing certifications. I'm a Reiki master, reconnective healer level 3. So I do that as well, and it's kind of all in my bag of tricks as I'm doing this work. So I really come to you with all of this, with so much of what I've learned as I've gone through this process, and that's why, like I said, I know people that have put together their own websites. I know as much as they say it's easy breezy, it can be complicated, and I personally have not done it. So I'm going more from secondhand experience. Okay, so I'm going to just look at some of my notes here and see. Okay, yeah, I think I pretty much, website.org, that was, one of the places that I went to and looked. So, okay, so talking about this, now we're going to talk a little bit, and I know, and I'm going to check this out too, because I know that if you want to know how many visits you've got coming to your website, Google Analytics is great to get involved with, and that's free. And you can look that, I think just about all of us are using or have used Google Chrome, which is the browser. You can get all the information, and Google Analytics will give you a good idea of who's coming to how many people are coming to your website, what pages that they're looking at. Like, for instance, I've been keeping an eye on that to see how many downloads my meditation has been getting. And I'm not huge with statistics and things like that, and it's easy for me to read. So Google Analytics, if you want to keep track, and what you can do is you can go in and check it. You can also set it up so that, say, once a month, they will deliver a report to you. So to find out how many times people are, going through, how long they spend on your website, all of those types of answers you can get with something like Google Analytics. And that's the one I'm familiar with. Again, I'm sure that there's other ones out there, but that one is the one that I use. So I will, again, put all of these links up, and we will be addressing this and any questions that you have on Wednesday. That is 8:30 Eastern Time with CACR Q&A and a little bit of review. So that's this Wednesday. Let's see. April the 26th. Wow, where did this month go? So anyways, yeah, that I will be doing, and I'll announce that one more time. So let me just see here. Okay. Yes, and somebody is just asking me about doing readings, so I'm just going to talk about this. Yes, I do video, email, phone readings. Pretty much that's my menu, and all of that is on my services page on my website. So if you go to susandentino.com, click on services, and that will come up, and you can see the pricing, how it works, and then we set up an appointment and we get the reading done. So thank you for asking that. Yes, all my services, I have meditations that are available in my shop page, my book, Songs of My Life, Slightly Out of Tune, and my children's book, A Year of Me. And A Year of Me, it's funny, it was such a life purpose driven thing. I did everything myself. My daughter did the illustrations. We self-published. I mean, it was just, and that was back in 2000. And as I said, it was just really such a labor of love. And I still have about 1,000 copies of that book available. And what it taught me was so much about doing things on your own. And what I mean is about self-publishing. And I know there's many of you out there that have got books and ebooks and things that you're thinking about doing. So we're definitely going to be having a CACR Coach Susan session on self-publishing and some of the different vanity presses that are out there. We'll talk about that, and that is one thing that I can give you really good experience advice about is self-publishing, because I did go that route. And again, that was back in 2000. Well, the book came out in 2000, so that was a little bit before then, and I think right now it's even easier. So the other thing I want to talk about today is YouTube, because I know there's people that are interested in getting set up with a YouTube station. Now again, I'm going to say that WikiHow has got a beautiful step-by-step with pictures as to how to set up a YouTube station. Okay, why would you want a YouTube station? Well, we all know that so many of our social media outlets are allowing us to go live, like I'm doing right now with you. And I'm on Facebook Live. So this is great. You know, Facebook Live is up and people are seeing it right now. But it's limited to how many people are on it, the time. You know, there's obviously limitations to all of these things that we do. And what we want is the most exposure possible. So with something like YouTube, you can create a station where you have your own videos available. And you can actually take your Facebook Live. So say you're somebody that likes to do weekly readings on Facebook Live. Well, you can do your weekly readings on Facebook Live, and then you can get these videos on to your YouTube station. And again, it's a step-by-step process. And I have a great gentleman who takes you through step-by-step with a YouTube video. And it's how I learn. So what I do is because I don't do this a ton, when I get done with this, I will go through the step-by-step process of getting this Facebook Live video up on my YouTube channel. Now, YouTube channels, like anything, have got followers. So again, it's all about how many times you've got people going to these YouTube stations that matter. Again, it's about promoting. You're going to create a page for yourself. That again is where that professional picture is really going to come in handy, because as you're going through this step-by-step process to develop your YouTube channel, you're going to want to have it done in such a way. I actually have a beach theme on my YouTube channel as well, and I think the picture really should be updated. I don't know when that picture was done. It was a professional picture, but it was done quite a while ago. I think I was in high school when it was done. No, not really, but it was a while ago. So I've been thinking I should probably redo that. But see, even with that, I did have help with that. The gentleman who's my web designer, I had him help me put up my YouTube channel. And again, if this is something that interests you, if you want to get yourself up there, if you want to do videos, want to do Facebook Live, there is a way, and it's relatively easy, but because there's a lot of steps involved, involved, I really don't want to take you through the steps. I prefer to give you the link and get some really good information, because even myself, and I've done it quite a bit now, I'm pausing, looking at it again, and just, kind of taking it that way. So I will make sure you have the links. If you're up on Facebook, you want to develop your own YouTube station. Again, I think as you're going through this process, it's all about what is important to you. You might not really feel like a video presence is something that you want. Maybe all you're concerned about is getting your services out there. And that's why for you, a web page is important. What I like about a web page and having even just a one-page presence is that for people, like for instance, somebody that wants a reading and has not met me and will reach out to me via email or something, I refer them to my website. First of all, the videos on the homepage, they really get to see who I am, what I'm all about. And then I have an about page, which talks all about who I am, what my certifications are, what my talents, where I'm going with different things. And that's always changing. I'm always checking my about page. 2 years ago, I changed radio shows, radio stations, updated it. So it's always changing. But this way, somebody can really get a good feel of who I am before they go on there. It's just recently, since I've been doing this, that I have been paying attention to my YouTube channel. And wow, I've been doing this many years. So that's, for me, was never a top priority. Now, because I do new moon and full moon broadcasts, I want people to have the ability to be able to go to those videos and see them. But I also have them on my website, and I'll refer them. The same thing with my radio show. The latest version of my radio show will come up on my website. So again, that's where you want to draw your traffic, because that's where your products are, that's where your services are, that's how you're getting yourself out there. So you want to make sure that you do that. And again, when you're putting together the YouTube, your station and getting it going, make sure that you make it as professional as possible. And one thing I wanted to mention as well, if you're looking for a website developer, all of the website developers copyright their work. So if you go to a website that you really enjoy and you're thinking, wow, I wonder who did that, I want to reach out to this person, find out, their name will be there with a copyright, and then you can reach out to them and ask them. And again, I wish I had better information about this whole pricing thing, but I really think that it's something that you almost need to find somebody, and just as if you were getting work done on your car, for instance, what you would do is solicit a couple different estimates. That's what I would say. I would say go to websites that you really feel would speak to the way you want to present yourself on the internet. See who did the websites, and then ask them for an estimate. I think that would probably make the most sense. And again, it has to be affordable for you. So check that out in that way. And I know there's people out there that are always looking for, ways to make some, barter exchanges. And there might be somebody who's just learning that might be willing to help you for a free reading or healing or something like that. So again, like I said, I think YouTube is something that's interesting and valuable. Again, if it's something you're interested in. Priority-wise, to me, websites, Facebook pages, getting active on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. And I know I only touched a little bit on LinkedIn last week, but I know especially people that are in, really professional and want to, link to different groups, write for those. There's all different options of different things that you can do. But to me, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter for our work really seems where you want to put your energy, because again, we only have so much energy, so we want to make sure that we're using it in the best way that we can. Okay, so let me just take out, how much time each way do you spend updating your, let me see, your Facebook and web pages? I'm on every day, and I would say that Usually first thing in the morning, what I do is I meditate, and then I'll just go through my own photos and get some inspiration to create some type of a meme pretty box as we talked about. So usually first thing in the morning. So maybe first thing in the morning after meditation. This is even before I do it in bed on my iPad, to be honest with you. So I would say probably in the morning I take about an hour, and then periodically throughout the day I'll check and see, share it on different places. If there's something that I'm promoting, I will make sure that it's being promoted. So I would say probably 4 hours a day, and that's, again, I don't time myself. It's like, I'll go on, come off, go on, come off. As far as my website goes, I don't even go on that every day. If I get a reading or something on there, then I will, go through the email process of doing that. So I would say probably as far as updating my website goes, I might check that twice a week. I'll go on and just to kind of see what's going on, maybe looking. I used to do Susanisms, which I haven't been doing because what happened was I wasn't updated with my website, and it was programmed to put up, and that was the name of my blog, to do my Susanism, and it would automatically go on Facebook. Well, then there was a disconnect, and so one of the reasons I updated was so I would be able to do that. So when I would do my blog, I would do it on my website, and it would automatically come up on Facebook. And what was nice was that the Facebook link would then take people back to my website. So that I was doing pretty regularly. Right now I'm working on a project, so my writing skills are going to the project versus doing the blog. Every once in a while I'll go on Facebook and do a little bit of writing. So I'm not doing a ton with keeping my website updated. I really have somebody that does that. Now I'll put the new moon, I'll be talking about the new moon on Wednesday, again, April the 26th. And all the hints that I give, that's going to be on Facebook Live. That's 7 p.m. Eastern time. So what I will do after that is I will take some time to go on my website, get that video up on the homepage of my website. So that might take me an hour, but I don't spend a lot of time on my website, more time on Facebook. Okay, let's see what we have. Can two people use same deck if they are working together? Okay, you know what? I'm not exactly sure about that, what that question means. If can two people use the same deck? I think you could use the same deck. Make sure that you clear it in between. I'm assuming what you mean is that you're doing a reading for somebody and then they take the deck and they do a reading for you. Make sure that the deck gets cleared in between the two readings. And just a review about clearing, you hold the deck in your non-dominant hand, just do a little tap on it, go through each card one at a time. Then I always fan the cards over my heart. You can put them in prayer and just set an intention in the cards that they give you a clear reading and that the information that you are going to deliver to your client is for his or her highest good. So as long as you clear the deck, I can't see why that wouldn't work. And I'm assuming that was the question you asked. Okay, I have just done my first video for my Facebook page. Okay, let me just see this. I have just done my first video for my Facebook page. I was surprised how many watched it. I got much more audience for the video than to a normal posting. Okay, and that is another thing. You can't see how your video is working. Now, I have my Facebook fan page. So when for instance, when I'll be broadcasting my Facebook, this new moon that'll be coming up on Wednesday, I will broadcast it there on my fan page. Then what I'll do is share it on all my other pages. Now I have a page for my radio show and I have a friends page, and I find that sometimes when I post it just on my fan page, it doesn't get as much action as if I share it on my friends page. Now again, this all depends on how you've set up your own accounts. As I said last week about my Facebook friends page, it's not a personal page. For those of you that have a personal page, then I would suggest that you just use it on your fan page. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's a great way to really see who's seeing it. And like you said, a normal post, and what I have found with doing my memes is that if I just post a normal meme, and a normal meme would be, you know, a little pretty box with some saying that I've come up with, I find now that people are really loving the animation. And remember, I talked about Lumyer, Lumyer, last week, to give, you know, sparkles and all different things going on. It's an app that you can use, available on iPad and iPhone. I'm assuming it's on all smartphones. I have found that I get a much bigger response on those memes versus just posting a picture. So they like the animation, they like the action. So your point is well taken. People want to, you know, they want to see a little bit more than just some writing. Like I have been doing some blogging on Facebook about the passing of my husband, and I'll use a picture of, you know, something that I'm talking about, and then I'll post as part of my grieving process. And those have gotten quite a bit of interest. But again, it's because there's many people that know my husband, know of my process, so they'll be, you know, looking at those and commenting and things like that. But for the most part, I would agree with you that it seems that people are really responding more to videos, and again, like I said, the illuminated memes, they seem more interested in those. Where and how do you blog? Okay. For those of you that might not be familiar with blogging, what I do when I'm blogging, I did it solidly every day for a year, and I entitled it Susanisms. And basically what they would be is just little, I usually would find a quote that really interested me and then talk a little bit about what the quote said. For instance, like with this calendar that I just said, that tomorrow is Take a Chance Day. What I would have done is talked about that in a blog. I didn't make them real long, but what it is a personal reflection of something that's going on in your life or something that you have a strong expertise in. I think for those of you that might have seen Julie and Julia, I believe the name of the movie was, where they talked about the girl who had started this blog about Julia Child's cooking and how she every day, or I think it was every day, she cooked one of her dishes, and how this blog just took off. So the subject matter of your blog is limitless. What it is something you would like to share with people. So really writing is coming from your experience. If you're a young mom and have found some interesting ways to entertain your children on rainy days, you could blog about that. So again, it can be on anything that you would like to share. As I pointed out, for me right now, there's times when I feel, well, you know, this is how I'm going through my grieving process. Maybe this will help somebody, and I'll blog about it. For me, writing, it just comes so much. I think for everybody, but for me, there's just times it's like I'm bubbling up, and I just have to write. It's my way of getting my emotions and my feelings out. That's what I put into my blog. But as I said, when I did it every day, and I did it every day for a full year, what I did was I posted it on the Susanisms tab in my website. And again, I went in the back end using WordPress. It was very easy. They have a featured image. I'd bring a picture in. Very easy to download the picture, put the featured image in. Very easy to do. And then the next morning it would post, and it would automatically go up on Facebook. So the first few lines, like for instance, if I was saying, today is Take a Chance Day, what are you going to do to take a chance? And then what it does is, in order to see the whole thing, there's like a thumbprint picture, and then in order to see the whole blog, what you would do is click on that, and it would automatically take you to the website. Now that should be back, but I have to be honest, I haven't tried it out because I haven't done a blog. But that's what you do. You write about what you know. And I think if you are going to be putting your writing out there in that way, I think you have to really watch grammar, punctuation. Again, this is a reflection of you. And I know that there's ways and there's people that might do it in the vernacular, and you could certainly do that if that is something that you really feel best represents you. But just like that picture, remember that every time you put anything on the web, you have no idea how many people are going to see it. I don't know if this has been big there, but where you might be. But recently, what I have seen all over is that poor woman who got her hand stuck in the toilet, and the firemen had to come and they had to pull the toilet out of the house and do all that. It's all over. And now that somebody gets it, somebody throws it on the web, and who knows? So you never know what might go viral. So you want to make sure that whatever you're posting, you put some thought into, and you feel like you don't care who sees it, who knows it, that it's the best representation of who you are and what it is that you want to say. Okay, let's see. You know, that's interesting about Pinterest. I know somebody's just asking, have you used Pinterest? I got involved with Pinterest a little bit, but I have not really found it to be something that resonated with me. So no, I have not used Pinterest to any, other than having a little bit of a look at it. I will say that I check it out every once in a while for recipes and things like that, but personally for promotion, no, I have not used it. And I just want to, I'm going to just check, because I know there were a few people that had sent questions. Here's one. I have my web page, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, business page, all up and running. And she's going on to say, let's see, I'll read the whole thing. Nearest bookstores from my location are about 2 hours one way. I post quite a bit here on Facebook. Business page now has over 700 followers. She does 1 hour free readings by going live, looking into doing the radio thing. My ebook is on Amazon. And she mentions here, Pinterest doesn't interest her. Posting in groups is very nice, but doesn't bring in income. Recently did an event to get the word out there and have an email list I am using. Any other suggestions for getting folks to buy? Okay, so in other words, what she's saying is that she has done everything, and I think somebody had mentioned this in CACR, on the CACR page not that long ago, about how generating income in this work seems to be a whole different process versus just getting, the free readings and things people are interested in. I really will go back to saying that the angel parties, which I talked about in the very beginning, are a great way to start getting yourself some clients and getting yourself some income. Because just about anybody would be willing to come and spend, $25, $20 for a 15-minute reading. So I really feel that if you're really looking to earn money, it's a great way to start. And again, we talk about angel parties, but whatever type of readings that you enjoy doing certainly would be something that you could explore in this way. I know that when we're doing this work, it does seem a challenge to really start bringing income in. So what you really have to do is start realizing that there's no reason why you should not be abundant doing this, and start looking at different ways that maybe you can, put your thought process out there and just look at great affirmations that just really enforce the idea that you are bringing abundance into your life. But I would suggest that if you're giving away all of these things for free and you're finding that you're not getting that back, and again, we're not saying that everything that you have to do, you need to get back. But what we are saying is that there has to be balance, or if you're giving till it hurts, eventually it does. There has to be some things coming back. So think of something that maybe you can get up on your website that you can charge for, but I would really say in-person readings, and if there is a New Age store, as you mentioned, near you, getting involved in seeing, even if you price yourself a little bit lower to begin with, to get the clientele coming. See if there's a way you could do readings. I talked about psychic fairs. Those are a great opportunity to get your name out there and to do readings. If you're affordable and you put yourself in a climate where there's a lot of people, you will get people to pay for your readings. So that's, I would say, in the beginning, you might have to do more in-person things to get your name out there, and then develop into using other modalities, phone, email. But right now, as I've said, it's the trust factor, and I know it gets frustrating with people doing, the free readings, and okay, well, this is fine, and I love that I'm being in service, but I need some energy coming back. And that's all money is, it's energy coming back. So I would highly suggest getting involved as much as possible with in-person readings to begin with. Okay. Yeah, see, a couple people are saying fairs are great. I know I have one other question. So this question is CACR. I get asked, so do you do readings on yourself? And that question comes up quite often for this CACR. And they're wondering, what is the best way to answer this? How would you answer it? Yes, I do readings on myself quite a bit as well. Sometimes I'll go through a span while I'll be doing them every day. I don't think there's any reason if a client or somebody's asking you if you do readings on yourself, you honestly say yes. Again, that's a personal thing. So you can give as much or as little information as you like. If they start, maybe asking you, well, what decks do you use? What it is. I always use this in my teaching. In the beginning, when I was first getting involved with this, I had a deck of cards. It was called the Angelic Messenger cards. And the woman's name that wrote the deck, her last name was Sawyer, I believe. It was Sowyer. And it was a very thick, like textbook, guidebook. And when I first started, and this was just for myself, this was before I did anything, I would pull a card. Every Sunday is a sacred day for me where I'll just rest and regroup. And every week I would do a 3-card pull for myself. And I would take very deliberate notes. I'd journal and write about the cards I pulled. And what I found from doing these readings for myself is that there would be certain cards that week after week would come up. And I don't remember exactly, but I'm going to say this was a 44-card deck. I believe that was it. And what I discovered, and because this guidebook was so detailed, there would be a little prescription of what it was that you could do so that you were, really paying attention to the message of the card. What I found, if I kind of ignored it, like for instance, I kept on getting the card vulnerable, and it was about a relationship, and I was supposed to take a stand in a relationship in my life. And I kept on thinking, oh my gosh, I've done this. Why does this card keep coming up? Well, again, I kept pulling it, and then finally one week something came up where I really had to step into my power, and I really took a stand. And this was in a relationship that I had felt I had resolved and taken a stand a long time ago. And what happened was, that relationship, I was in my power, respected for being in my power. I never pulled that card again. So I have used that as an example in teaching about how when we're doing readings for ourselves, the same card will come up over and over again until we get the message. And I would be willing to bet many of you that are listening to this right now, this totally resonates. So if somebody is asking that question, I have no problem saying yes. I use all different decks. Right now I'm really into Rumi, so I've been using a Rumi deck. It just, again, depends on what you're comfortable doing. And remember, you're a professional, and this is part of who you are and what you are, and what you decide to divulge is totally up to you. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's just see. All right, Debbie, I seem to get migraines after readings. Any thoughts? Okay, and I am going to finish on this question. Okay, Debbie, it's so interesting that you bring this up, because I did a reading the other night, and it actually was an hour reading. We ended up going a little bit longer than an hour, and I got done, and I had such a headache. And what I feel it's about all of this energy that you're putting out. Now remember, we're using this third eye chakra right here when we're doing our readings. So again, third eye, it's so located in this whole area where you could get a really significant headache. So I've got 2 suggestions, which I should have done, I didn't do prior to the reading. Always give yourself 15 minutes before a reading. For those of you that do fairs or do angel parties, always make sure you're giving yourself some time in between readings to get centered and to really get protected. Make sure that you call in whomever it is that you want. And again, we're calling in not so much to be protected against negativity, but more or less to be protecting our energy. So whatever angels you like to work with, when I remember to do this, and I highly suggest it, I call in, Archangel Raphael for healing, Michael for strength, Gabriel, so that I communicate clearly, and Archangel Uriel for clarity in what I'm saying. Then I bring in my guardian angels, any ascended masters that I choose to work with, I bring them in as well. So now I've got everything 15 minutes, nice, calm. I start getting into the person's energy so that I can really, know some things that I'm going to get for them prior to the reading. Then after the reading, cut cords and really release the person with love and light. I'm really seeing around you sea salt as being very positive energy. So maybe after time, a way that you could maybe get a sea salt bath in, maybe do a sea salt shower. And what I suggest with that is just to get some one of those natural sponges, put some sea salt on it and just kind of do that. And this is just coming to me now. I have never said this before, so I'm just going to assume this is a channeled thing. I'm seeing a foot basin, and a foot basin with sea salt in the foot basin, and then just put your feet. Remember all of the beautiful chakras on the bottom of our feet. Just put the feet in there and just allow yourself to drain any energy that needs to be removed out of those beautiful earth star chakras that are there. So hopefully that helps. Before each reading, you should be grounded too, talking about earth stars. So as we're protecting ourselves and putting our auric field beautifully around us, make sure that you're grounding, set your intention. So I really trust that'll help, but I think what it is it's all about an energy thing. So as you could hear in the background, that was my beautiful grandfather clock chiming the end of the hour. It has been such a pleasure working with you. Just to recap, I do mini readings on my radio show, The Night Shift with Susan Dentino, which is every Tuesday, 7 p.m. I have a chat room that you can join. I get my readings from there. And 7 p.m. on W4CY Radio. This Wednesday, I will be doing the new moon, giving you tons of information, what sign it's in. I suggest an angel. I suggest a crystal, an essence. All things that you can use to navigate that energy. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Facebook Live on my fan page. And I'll be doing right after that at 8:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Eastern Time, I'll be doing a very special edition of Q&A, your questions answered. And I will put up, because I should have had this written down. I am doing some traveling, so I will not be available, I believe, for the next 2 Saturdays. So a week from Saturday and then the Saturday after. Now that could change, but I have a feeling I'm not going to have great web service where I am. So I'm going to probably err on the side of taking that week off. And then I will be back, and we're going to have some great topics to talk about. I'm going to start posting a graphic that you can post your questions under. I'll put that up on Tuesday so that for Wednesday, for those of you that can join me, I'll start looking at those questions, address as much as I can. Wow, this has been a quick hour, and I really am so glad that you joined me. I enjoy working with all of you. I feel your love and your energy. Thank you so much. I will get this up on Facebook ASAP and on my YouTube station. And for those of you that might just be joining, you can see all of the shows. I believe this is episode 6. You can see all of the CACR coaching sessions. They're all available on my YouTube channel. And I'll get those links up on my fan page. Thank you so much. You have a great day. And remember, tomorrow's Take a Chance Day. Take a chance. I'll see you soon. Wednesday, hopefully. Bye-bye now.